I mean, especially when you have a bounty hunter. I've seen both in pro games and in pubs where you just give the ring of regen early, and then they just farm a ring of health first thing they do after buying 2 clarities, and you give that as well. And it's
Yeah,
like, okay, you got like a hood, almost a vanguard regen, and then you're just
right.
sitting in lane. And then once he's got everything done for the dom, you give them to him when he comes to the lane, just kill the tower, and then you just keep on rolling from there.
Kind of feels like Enigma is what's kind of left of the old perspective on Dota, if that makes sense. Like with the change to Lich, for example, he's the only guy now who can deny a creep in that manner. I feel like he has
100% of the deny.
Yeah, he has like an insane dynamic on the lane that I don't think any other hero does. Like the beautiful thing about Dota is every hero can affect the game differently, right? For the most. But I don't think anyone else has the same impact in the early laning phase that Enigma does in terms of XP control.
The crazy thing is, like, I was thinking that exact same thing too, because I was doing like a video on like underrated, overrated heroes or whatever, and Enigma was like one of the underrated ones, and I was thinking, oh, this hero, denies have been nerfed, but not for Enigma. And then I'm sitting here watching these games, looking at these Enigma replays. They're actually not even denying in the lane. Like they deny the first range creep, and then they just hard jungle because you get the dom so quickly if you do that it's like a 2 to 3 minute dom timing, something ridiculous like that, depending on how the game goes. And it's just the greediest thing, but it makes a lot of sense with a bounty hunter because as a core bounty hunter, like you want to fight a lot. So to have like a pseudo core 4 role that's like a greedier 4 role that will scale to be essentially another core is kind of what you want, because you don't want to just sit in a lane and farm on bounty hunter. You want to fight. You want to get those track kills.
Definitely seems like a lot more teams kind of trying to transition towards this 4 core kind of scenario, right? Like Secret has clearly been the ones at the forehead of that, but a lot more teams are kind of jumping on the bandwagon now.
Yeah, for sure. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's like we saw at the start of the patch, the Midas meta. For whatever reason, things are just trending to go more towards late game. I think a large portion of that was just that because everybody was building into a Midas, you had the option to pick like these really greedy 4s. Like I was playing pubs in that time where everybody's building Midas. Like I had a lot of success like Ursa 4. And my reasoning behind that was not necessarily that it's the greatest, although I do think it's pretty good. It's more so because you go into the late game and you have an Ursa 4, you essentially have a 4th carry on your team. Same with Enigma, same with Bounty Hunter. And then I think people realized in general that if you can get a support that's relatively strong in the early game and just does something in the laning stage that eventually scales, all you need to do is the OG strat where you just let the game go late and then you eventually win. But because the enemy team makes a mistake and you just have better heroes than them in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Secret's been kind of pioneering for a while. You saw that when they were doing like their 5 melee strats and even having just 5 core. It's like the longer the game goes, the stronger you all become. Even if you just have 1 item on your 5, everybody else is going to have items. And also if you have all the map control, you're going to be able to farm everywhere because your 2 main cores are going to be able to farm offensively in their jungle or offensively in lanes. And then you have your supports just farming in your own jungle, just taking it easy. So you just all get a lot of farm because there's like way more gold on the map in terms of once you get the map control down. And I mean, Enigma especially is one of those heroes that helps you get that map control so you can actually farm offensively on a lot of you.
True, yeah. I think a lot of the supports too, like, your bounty hunters, you have your nature's prophets, like these heroes have some alternative way of getting gold that's not just like hitting creeps. Like nature's prophet can TP, cut waves, ults out the waves, safely pushes them, so he'll get your Vlads and builds into these items that normally cores would. And then you have like a bounty hunter, he fights. Enigma, like you said, he can just send Eidolons down lanes. Shadow Shaman just runs down lanes, drops Serpent Wards. It's just these heroes that kind of like take what would usually be the dead farm for other, like no Lich is gonna like take that farm, you know what I mean? But these like pseudo cores can.
All right, we seem to have round out our drafts here, and I guess this isn't too much of a surprise after the Ember was revealed. The Monkey King does come out for VP, so you're I think Gambit have to play dodge with their lanes here, right?
I mean, Alpha's gonna have a hard time in mid.
Yeah, you can definitely run the Ember safe lane. That's a pretty common thing, just like going safe lane, maxing Sleight of Fist. I think it'll do pretty good against Pangolier too. It's not really anything. I mean, Pangolier has a silence for him, but doesn't really do anything to Ember. Pre 6, you just keep spamming the Sleight of Fist out on him, and worst case you'll farm, and then you can probably put Weaver mid. I don't see Weaver doing too poorly against Monkey.
And we're probably gonna see the Jakiro versus the Batrider matchup in terms of supports on the lane. This is a bit of a weird one because Jakiro's tanky can harass effectively, but you're talking about a lane with an Ember plus Jakiro. You guys can get caught out pretty easily with the sticky napalm spam.
For sure. Although now that I'm thinking about it, maybe you just say like, all right, we'll sack the Ember. You can come back through fighting because Weaver versus, well, it's Roger Bat is the thing. I would say like you want to put your Weaver versus a Bat because it's gonna, it's the counter. Like you just don't care about the napalm. It's just a classic counter, but it's a support Bat, so I don't think you really care that much about putting Weaver against it. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's probably Ember. But yeah, they could definitely die to Bat plus Pango, Ember, and Jakiro. I would say you probably want to put the Bat against. You could also put the Bat against Bounty Hunter because it's a magic damage hero, one of like the few heroes that can run him down and kill him in lane, even with like the bullshit regen that he's giving to getting from Enigma. So Enigma has 1 clarity. What's he doing? What's going on here? He's rushing the Ring of Health, I guess?
Seems that way.
Yeah, must be rushing the Ring of Health since he hasn't given a regen to Bounty.
Yeah. God, I feel like this build just breaks Dota.
Yeah, it's... I don't know if you should be able to share regen, It feels kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, we were having this discussion yesterday. We were kind of like saying that, like, this just seems like something that has been in the game so long, and these things, it happens. It's happened before where they just sat there for patch after patch, and they were just completely ignored or used in a very minute way. And then suddenly this guy comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think a good example of another thing that you could do but nobody did, and it had to get like nerfed very quickly, is like Pudge jungle and like Tiny jungle pulling the wave, where you could like pull mid over and over, and just like deny a lane, that an entire lane of creeps get a level advantage in a lane that like never was possible before. Well, it was possible, but nobody did it.
I mean, the best one was when we had Rubik lifting out the creeps in the old, and then
ancient
you just farmed the whole jungle with 1 creep wave, and then you just kept on lifting every single time.
Oh my god, those are the days, man. That was when Pudge was in his prime.
I still feel like the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen that sadly didn't get to be seen in a pro game was the, do you remember the block creep wave stack with Chen plus Helma Dominators? I think it was like in the bot lane that someone done it and they flooded the base, and they're like, okay, 20 minutes in, these guys can do nothing.
You release like an army of like 1,000 creeps. God, imagine an Earthshaker in that situation.
I think there was like, I remember a clip where like a different team tried to do it and there was a Shaker. And they were like marching up top towards a tier 2, and the Shaker just casually walked out with a level 1 Echo Slam and murdered everything.
Like 20,000 damage Echo.
That's the dream. This lane of mid will definitely not be the dream. We said Afa will probably suffer a little bit, and I think he's not really going to get any kind of reprise in the lane phase at all, because you look at Gambit supports, they're not very good at ganking.
Yeah, it's
the greedy side.
Yeah,
kind of just have to sack your Ember in mid now. I mean, yeah, he's not gonna have a fun time. No one, especially starting with the Uve as well. It's gonna be very useful. I mean, Alpha wants to get bottle early, which is good to help him jungle, but it makes it really.
VP is running this Batrider chasing the Enigma around the jungle too. You've Lone Druid solo against the Bounty. This is like basically the most ideal laning setup for VP. I don't think Bounty does particularly well against a Lone Druid. I think Bat can mess with an Enigma in the jungle, Monkey King wins mid, and Pango +1, Pango plus Wyvern, that's kind of like the weaker lane, but they'll get experience. Pango's like not a particularly good dual laner anyway, so that's the fine lane to like kind of sack,
Pasha got an early pull as well, 2 full waves on under his tower, so he's gonna be fine with it.
And that's kind of the thing, like Gambit can't easily kill this lane either, right?
Yeah.
There's the Ring of Health. Afterlife, goddamn.
Did you bring out another clarity, or is that's got to be the second one, right?
8.7. 8.7 regen. It's 2 minutes into the game.
Well, the bear will tickle. That's for sure. That's about all of it.
The only problem in this lane is like Bounty Hunter doesn't have much of a way to close the gap on Lone Druid, who has 330 movement speed at level 1. It's not easy to just keep, tickling him and taking the Janata gold like it is with a lot of other heroes.
I mean, would it even be worth maybe trying to pick like an Orb of Venom up on the Panda to make sure you never lose gold?
Yeah, sure. I think that's a really good casual item for the bear. Anyway, like Bounty, I don't think he's even hit the Lone Druid once. He's just trying to get these like range creep CS, and Ramses is constantly fearing away so that he can get CS.
I think you have to get an early point in Invis if you actually want to get in and harass him in this. Because if you don't get Invis here, you're never gonna get on top of the Lunda, like you say, and then he's gonna farm. And yeah, you might get harassed on the bear. It's not gonna be enough to kill it down, and you can just buy some tangos, and bear's gonna be alive for it.
Yeah,
he's already got the Orb of Venom as well, so he can just keep him away, keep him at bay.
So this is a hero that he can steal gold from, the Bat Rider. 335 movement speed. Bounty's got the boots, but it's a bat. You don't really care that much.
Pasha, this is a bold way to go about things. I mean, he can swashbuckle away if need be. But
he has a mango.
Yeah, but he just used a salve as well, so he'll TP away. But that was a pretty expensive pull through.
But Daxak brings the creep wave into the tower, so that's actually going to send him a double wave. This is one thing that, like, if you're a carry, you kind of don't want to do this if somebody's doing these creep wave shenanigans behind the tower. If you pull it into the tower, you're just sending them a free double wave. Like, you're giving them exactly what they want. I think that's actually a bit of a mistake. He's farming down here, but this is the lane that's supposed to be. This is kind of Gambit's only like really winning lane down here. So if you send a double wave like this to a solo Pangolier, and we saw last time, well, solo, I shouldn't say that because he's on this team. Solo actually left the lane and left Pasha alone for the solo experience. So we have Pasha getting complete. He's actually winning this lane on the Pango just because he's getting solo experience through all these creep waves. We can see Solo actually left again. He just wants to give him completely. God, I need to stop saying that. Solo experience.
It's so hard, right? No one's the one who always catches me. They caught no one. No, they didn't. He's on the other side of the map.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
But it's a fair point to make because what you got is Solo just trying to stay out of XP range. And we just saw Roger actually just cutting across towards the mid lane between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers, basically absorbing the time of both of Gambit supports. And, I mean, you compare these supports, Gambit have the ones that want to farm because they have the Enigma.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he's level 2, man. He's not having a good time. Roger's just been bullying the living hell out of him. He has to go into his own jungle. But guess what? So is Ember. Ember doesn't want to be against Monkey King, so he's just jungling this one camp. Not ideal. That's a level 4 Ember to a level 6 Monkey King.
Yeah, Monkey King's got 15 denies as well, so he's doing a really good job as well. I mean, the Ember's still somewhat keeping up, which is good. He's only one level behind. But it's still, I mean, this is kind of expected when you see this lane, but this is one of the problems I see with Enigma. When you get this thing where you just fall behind, you're not getting the levels that you kind of need. You definitely need to be around 4, maybe closing in on 5 now if you want to run this greedy lineup, because now, especially with Ramsey's start, he's just going to start pressuring towers.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be definitely worried because, like you said, it's this early sacrifice for that huge kind of power spike the moment you get the Helm of Dominator, but if that timing comes a little bit later and other heroes are strong and can just deal with you, it's like...
Kulich? Oh, he's dead. He was super greedy there. He actually had the Shadow Walk leveled, but he didn't want to pop it.
He had the dust on Bat Rider, so I presume he just didn't want to give him that.
Well, I think you're like done either way there, right? At least try and force the use of money, I guess.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Right at the end, you can definitely use it.
Zali got rude, so
that was greedy. Thought that he could get away, maybe.
It's a dream that won't come true. I think like the dream for Gambit now is just finish up getting 6 on the Bounty Hunter, then try and make rotations. But I feel like you're basically going to be at the whim of whether Affanin can find a pick off because. Who else can gank with a Bounty Hunter?
It's like the Enigma Black Hole, or like you said, the Ember Spirit. I think they have a decent timing. Like you can kill Lone Druid, you can kill Monkey King with these heroes. You have a lot of burst. You just need the levels. You need Bounty 6, you need Enigma 6. I don't think with Ember 6, they can't really kill Ramses and they can't really kill no one. They're just a little too difficult to kill mobile heroes, 100, 331 movement speed, has the fear. He's got a full Midas, actually.
Yeah, 7 minutes exactly. Feeling pretty good about that. I think you're right as well. Like, you're probably going to look to focus on Pangolier, considering he's the big team fight for Virtus.pro. He is the enabler anyway.
God, he actually has a javelin, and he's almost level 6.
And his boots as well.
Yeah, they're all having a really good, for sure. And I mean, Emerson's got his Dom now at least, so they can try and pressure up in top. But even so, Ramsey's he's got his Midas and he's level 7 with his bears, so he can just fear people away and stop them. And then Roger can come up and Firefly. I mean, he can Firefly between the towers now if he doesn't get ganked.
Yep. I mean, he can just Midas the creep too. This is one unfortunate thing when you are dealing with like a Midas carrier and trying to do this Enigma build.
This was the real reason people want Midas nerfed. They didn't care about the money. It was just Helmet Dominator became an irrelevant item.
Yeah. God, remember you get a Midas Necros?
Oh, God.
Oh, Roger. This looks like it's probably a kill. Yeah.
He's pretty deep. They're going to net him up. I'm not sure if they actually have the damage. He could just TP now and be fine.
Oh, my God. He's being so annoying. He's actually just staying there.
He's like, XP, dude. Why would I leave? What are you on about, Pigeon? I need to just sap away from this Enigma and make sure level 6 never comes around. Oh, mid lane? Actually, fight going on. They managed to get the kill on the Monkey King with the 2-man rotation to assist Afinin.
Bounty rotates with the level 6. Leaves Lone Druid to push the top tower, which is not great, but, you know, Bounty Hunter, this is what you want to do. Not a hero that just sits in the lane passively. You need to get that track gold up and running. You get most of your money from fighting. Do a lot of damage too, so good rotation.
Yeah, should be able to get his drums up fairly quick and then just move around.
Yeah.
Pasha's just gonna roll like Pangos do.
Autobot's rolling back to base, son.
There he goes. Give Solo the experience bot. It looks like he probably dies to Daxak here, unless he TPs immediately.
Nah, 5 seconds to wait. He can fly across the trees, though. Maybe just get out of range, but sadly, it was the second strike from Geminate.
Unfortunately, it's hit that point in the game where you can't really just solo a lane as a support with another coordinate, you know, especially if it's a side lane, they just run you down.
Not something we say often in Wyvern, but yeah, with the Weaver there, the gap close is just too strong.
Yeah, and usually he's like sitting in trees, defending a tower. It's really hard in the off lane because there's so much space that you can just get run down between the towers. He doesn't even want to bother going up to lane. He knows that he's maybe gonna die. Weaver's coming back in.
I mean, we mentioned the drums bounty when he gets them, but Batrider's making his way towards drums already. He's making decent speed towards it as well, since he picked up the time.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad actually. He's double the net worth of Jakiro, which I mean is to be expected as a 5-roll, but he's kind of playing the 5 as well. Batrider. He's just been getting a lot of experience.
On Macrobar, they just caught Monkey King here. Ron Thunder's going to come out to try and protect them. Afinin has to back away, but Agulich goes in, and no one will go down. They're going to stun up onto the Bounty Hunter, but still on a half HP. The Firefly is up, and that should secure a revenge kill onto both the Jakiro and the Bounty Hunter.
They have the Wyvern sticks. This is a decent place to fight for VP. Well, they're not going to defend the tower.
Yeah, the hack actually got last hit there, so that's perfect for Gambit. I mean, you do give up your Bounty Hunter and your Jakiro, but arguably your biggest threat on the map right now is that Monkey King. Like, which, don't get me wrong, Lone Druid is going to be a problem when this game goes on, but right now, the one that could get active in these fights is the Monkey King, right?
For sure, for sure. I think bringing the fight to him makes a lot of sense. Like, Ember can destroy the trees, Jakiro can destroy the trees, Weaver can scout over the trees, Bounty Hunter can use track, Enigma can destroy trees when he gets the Midnight Pulse. It's actually not an easy Monkey King game in terms of fighting. In terms of laning it was, but for fighting it's not. And here on the top lane, and even on the mid lane before, we can see like the strength of this Enigma. Even if you defend the tower and take a successful fight, you still lose it. It's just this early Dom with the 2 siege waves. It's very hard to deal with.
Alright, Sun Alchemy weapons. Do we nerf Enigma or do we nerf Helmet Dominator?
I would say Dominator at this point. I don't know. I think the catapults are a bit too strong to be able to take. You just do so much damage. If you can time it with the first catapult or just the second catapult wave, it's like you can't stop that push. I think I've seen games where you have an Enigma or Chen or whatever that sits with like the first 2 catapults. I mean, with Chen obviously you can grab both, With Enigma, you just take the first catapult. If it dies, you get the second one that comes out. Just keep on pushing.
I kind of feel like nerfing catapults would make sense too, because I've seen like a lot of the offlane right now is just dictated by getting like Bassi plus some sort of other pushing item and just taking a tower on the first catapult wave. And if you do that like in pubs, you win 90% of the time. It's so easy. And it's so easy to do too if you have an advantage in the lane, which is always what you have in the offlane. Almost always.
You're just saying catapults, and all I'm envisioning is Invoker Chen lineups.
Yeah, well, yeah. Think of like Chen. Think of Invoker. Like every time somebody puts a buff on a catapult, it's like 2 hitting towers, and everybody, it's like, wow, that's so good, you know.
They found Weaver. The hack might be in a little bit of trouble here. They're going to stun him up. They can't get the silence, but they have got the fear, and that should be enough to get him before he can finish the time lapse animation.
That's a big kill. He's second on net worth. Wondred gets it too. Okay, he's almost his radiance.
Yeah, he's so close to his radiance.
This has basically been a free Druid game. I mean, we saw in the lane, we saw Bounty Hunter couldn't actually interrupt him at all. They don't really seem to have invested heavily in trying to slow down Lone Druid whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess your late game's not super bad against the bear build. You have lots of stuff to kite it. You have the Weaver bugs, which are pretty annoying for the bear. You have the Enigma, Midnight Pulse, lots of ways to slow and stun it. But I don't know. I don't see any like super hard counters to the bear on Gambit's side. Pasha?
They can't quite find him, but he did swashbuckle away from that. But Kulich, he's scouting out as we expect from this Bounty Hunter. What's Af? Yeah, Afon is going for the drums as expected. So Gambit definitely looking to just ramp up that tempo off the back of the track gold they can get from the Bounty Hunter.
I feel like VP's gonna hit a pretty good timing soon, though. No one's closing in on his Echo Saber. He went early Medallion as well, which is a reason why Gambit was managed to actually gank him with that, and then finishing the Radiance at the same time. It's really good timing to be able to, you know, take a fight, take roll, maybe take some towers. I mean, if they can take a fight towards mid lane, get rid of that tier 1 and get Roach, they're in a pretty good position to like keep it going and just go for their own push strat against Gambit before they can actually get online enough. And it also makes it hard for the Bounty Hunter. You want to be able to just run around with the Bounty and the Ember or any other +1 and just get these 1 or 2 pickups. But if VP starts grouping up, it makes it really hard.
Yeah, I think basically at that point you have the potential of the Enigma Black Hole that you need to look out for, but he's not even going for a Blink Dagger yet. So he's going for Mechanism. So you don't have to worry if you just group up with the Lone Druid Radiance right now about getting Black Hole. And I think aside from the Black Hole, there's not much Gambit can do to fight the Radiance right now.
Well, VP are going to try and fight them, though. They find the Bounty Hunter being a little bit greedy. Haste Rune used, and now Winner's Curse, moving up towards the top. Weaver's been found again in the same lane. He cannot escape from death. Seems
big timing.
to be cut and dry for VP right now. Like, these moves, you expect Gambit to be the one scouting out, finding those kills, right? With the Bounty, with the Ember, at this point in the game.
I love that they're using the Winter's Curse to just set up the Lone Druid Fear. Like, this, in my opinion, is one of the big things that people changed in the playstyle with Winter Wyvern that made it, like, 10 times as good. Where you don't just treat the Winter's Curse like it's a teamfight ability. People started using it to set up, like, Marana Arrow and Death Prophet Silence, and these really simple abilities that, if you use it as a long-range initiation on something like a Weaver, like, they actually die, you know? But people were afraid to do that for a long time. And now people just don't care. It's like, you know, you're going to be a pick-off. I'm going to take it.
Look how deep Solo went. He gets this deep ward in, and they didn't see him either. He smoked and flew all the way through the Radiant jungle.
Look at the second ward.
Oh, yeah, the smoke spotter.
God damn.
Wow. What a man.
This is some pretty good warding to secure this
tower.
They
saw him, though. They definitely saw him. They had a sentry down as well. So Solo will have to give his life for the cause of a ward. Or will he? He's trying to fly away. The problem is the Ember is here, and with that, Solo will fall.
There's so much space, though.
There's, and look at the mid tower. Yeah, they're taking it in this meantime.
I mean, technically, he did his job. If they're taking the mid tower, that's like what the warding secures. So, but really well played by Gambit, having the sentry in the trees there. That's a sentry I've seen. It's pretty common now to place that sentry there. It just dewards such a nice little area where you can see a lot of these like cheeky wards that usually catch a glimpse of you, like smoking, like you said, or rotating between like the jungle and the mid lane. Just a really nice sentry placement, which gave them that kill on Solo. And dewarded a very important ward, but little did they know Solo actually put a second one. Almost anticipating that would get dewarded.
And you don't really expect that either, because those two wards are pretty close in proximity, and at that stage of the game fulfill a similar role.
Yeah, that's the pretty cool part, is I feel like with Solo, I've seen him do something similar to this before, with like placing a sentry to block a camp as a bait to make people think that there's a ward there, and then I put the ward somewhere else. Like, I've seen that multiple times, and then people ping the camp, and then they deward a sentry, and there's a ward there. So it's like this like false sense of security. It's actually kind of broken. It's better to have this ward here because they think that there's no ward here because they dewarded one that was really close to it. So they might smoke on there. They're like more likely to smoke in that area and play near that area. Like, that's something Solo does a lot, and it's super next level.
See if it actually pays off in the coming minutes, because I'm wondering at what point are we going to see these teams move towards the Roche pit, do you think, Weapons? Who will be the first to go in? Will it be VP or Gambit?
I definitely think like VP's going to be the ones going in. They have the Bat Rider, they have the Monk. It's hard for Gambit to actually go into the Roche pit unless they get a couple of pickups. I mean, Enigma can work pretty good in there, but if you consider what VP actually has, like I mentioned, both the Monkey King and the Bat Rider, but also the Pango just bouncing around in there, you don't really want to take a fight in there unless you can actually have proper pickups before that, and you need to get rid of at least one or two of those major Roche arrows for that.
VP, they were looking for the pick-off there. Happening just about gets away. I think you're right, though. Like, there's just these big ultimates that VP can play around so easily. Pangolier, chief among all in this game, it's just this very... I mean, we talked about how strong Lucky Shot is before. It's this very odd hero in that around the Roche pit, because of his ultimate, he is incredibly good defensively, like to stop people roaching. But at the same time, with the disarm, he's actually very good for helping take roach.
True. I mean, even if you like, get a nice swashbuckle off, like silencing half the enemy team, disarming half the enemy team, it's pretty hard to fight when you just have half your team silenced or disarmed. Finally, VP.
I mean, they're just getting rid of the useless tower, right? Like, once this is gone from the map, they have no real reason to have to be down here in the next 5 minutes.
It's true. The only good thing about this tower is you can sit on the high ground and take a fight around that like nice ward spot and potentially racks if you get a good enough. Like, it just opens up the racks. That's basically it. It doesn't open up any of the enemy jungle. Like, that's already open. They have the shrine to TP to anyway. Like you said, pretty useless other than like the racks potential.
Yeah, that racks in itself feels kind of good to take though. Fire for sure. Just having the bottom lane pushing constantly is always something to be. That's very annoying.
Right, because the Roche pit's just the opposite. So you have somebody's always dealing with it, and it's like, all right, you have to TP to shrine, but if I force you to TP to this racks, then yeah, you're not going to show up to a Roche fight. This BH being so annoying.
Match himself a little bit of cheddar.
This is kind of what happens with BH Core if you're not winning fights, is that you just fall off on your support. Like, he's got 4.8k net worth, and Enigma is sitting at 7k net worth. Almost as much as the Ember. This is why I like these two heroes together.
Bot, just a friendly little neighborhood dragon giving his life to distract his opponents. Oh, the turnaround kill there. Pangolin, nice move. The Winner's Curse distract Ember and the Weaver. Not by enough time for the rest of VP to get out. They didn't expect to have to give over the Pangolier for a trade onto the Boss 5, though.
Yeah, that's not great. Unfortunately, no track kill for Gambit, but that bug,
Oh, turnaround. Not enough damage. They couldn't get across the Winter Boss. Although now with Lone Druid here, they might be able to make something happen. Although he's taking a lot of damage right now. Ramsey's going to turn around, trying to get the roar out, but the hack moves away. Now Older Kaluch here as well. They want to get rid of Ramsey's. The Cold Embrace to keep him alive with the Midnight Pulse down as well. Moving across, no one trying to get involved in the fight. The last who's down in Enigma. They're going to get rid of him. They jump straight in. Finally, they get rid of Lone Druid. Can they find more, or will they be claimed instead? Ember moving forward. He still has the Flame Guard to work with. Happening. Gonna jump across. Has got the Serum Chains off cooldown now, but Roger sidestepping. Diffusal. He can't get across the line. He actually gets caught in the end. Courtesy of the Weaver. Happening's the one to get the kills.
That Arcane Rune, this guy had, like, he used it for 2 kills. I mean, with the Arcane Rune on Weaver, the Sakuchi cooldown is... You basically have it up permanently. Sakuchi. It's just nuts. And then also the Swarm has this like 15-second cooldown that you can use. Both of the heroes they killed are very tanky, but he had the Swarm on them for so long that they just melted to his right clicks. Pango with the mechanism died in like 2 hits because he was rolling the whole time, which means you can't hit the swarm. So he was sitting at like minus 15 armor. Just melts to two Weaver hits. And also, if you have the Arcane Rune on Weaver, it reduces the cooldown of Geminate attack, which gives you an extra 40 damage now. He's got an Invis.
And I think in that last fight, we kind of like saw a preview of one of the big issues VP faces when dealing with Gambit, which is out of all the supports in the game, Immersion has the highest threat value. So you have to commit a lot to ensure that black hole never goes off.
I actually think he made a big mistake in the last fight. He didn't hold. It looked like he was anticipating that the Wyvern had the ultimate still, like a bit of a miscommunication, because I know he didn't. So there's no way to interrupt the hole. And if he holds, he doesn't die there because he kills the lone druid before the Batrider gets into the fight to lasso him. So if he holds that, and if he's more like confident, has a blink dagger, the fights are going to get significantly harder for VP. They're going to need to save the Winter's Curse to interrupt the black hole. Although Wyvern does almost have the blink dagger, which is definitely going to help out with getting that Enigma.
Bounty in trouble. Need to get found, but this is the life of the bounty hunter. As we said, he's basically a support at this point, so what does he care?
Yeah.
He's got his 2 main items, so he can just move around. He's even got a medallion. There's not much more he actually needs to do outside of just getting tracks in, like he got in the bottom fight, which is so.
Yep, he's fine with that. I'd love to see like a Spirit Vessel pick up on him. He's got the Windlace to build into it eventually. It looks like he's going for the Solar Crest. Pretty good with the Weaver, so it makes sense. Give him the extra attack speed. Maybe armor.
Which did get buffed again recently. I believe they added an extra 10 to the attack speed buff and debuff.
Did they?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, 80 attack speed.
Yeah.
They really? Oh my god! They really buffed it. Are you serious? I swear to God that people were built like. I think that item was low key broken before they buffed that.
I mean, it's basically hidden by all these other items, right? Guardian Greaves is first in people's mind right now, and that just seems to have got a lot of attention. Helmet Dominator making a slow but steady return. You can kind of understand how it slips in, because it's like, I think there's a select bunch of heroes that can justify a Solar Crest at an early point in the build, and Bounty Hunter is definitely chief among them.
I still kind of feel like early Solar Crest is just not necessary. Like, Medallion is minus 7 armor. You get 5 more for the Solar Crest, and you get the attack speed, which is good, but it's better in the late game. I kind of feel like getting an early Spirit Vessel and, drums and Vlads and these other items is just more value early on into the game. And then, like, eventually your Medallion builds into a Solar Crest.
Happening. Looking to go in. Searing Chainsaw on 2. Doing Remnant straight into this. Wyvern in a bit of trouble. The Ice Buff down. The Max Bar as well. Shields of Death. The Shuriken Toss coming through. Roger has to retreat. Pasha is arriving to try and fight here, but they don't really have an entrance. Instead, their bear might die if they're not careful. Ramsey's poor little bear cub is taking a lot of damage. We'll get pretty low, and Daxak will move in with the Diffusal to just clean it up and get himself a nice goal. Oh, nice deny, though. No one. Has to activate the BKB to ensure that he doesn't die, though, for that. I'm not sure, even with the deny on the bear, if that's worth it at that stage. I mean, that was the 10-second. Yeah, it was the 10-second.
Style points, though, dude. That's worth it. Just the morale game.
Yeah, all about style points. And going back to the Solar Crest as well, it's like you said, the hefty cost as well for upgrading into Solar Crest early feels like, I mean, sure, it's good, but it definitely feels like it's going to have way more impact if you get it a bit later. And I think that with how the game's gone now, with the Hawk picking up some items, gonna get close to Maelstrom as well. If you kind of time the...
Roger. They just found the Ember Spirit here. They just casually walk in the jungle, and they might get the kill with the roots coming out. It's enough to bring him down. The Black Hole connects onto the Bear and the Pangolier, but they haven't caught anyone else. The Wukong's is going to go down in Immersion. He just put himself in the center of a big mess. That might actually be Roast Pit secure for VP, but the Black Hole on cooldown.
Could definitely be the opening there. But yeah, going back to Solar Crest as well, if you time that together with the Maelstrom, it's going to be a lot of damage for the Weaver. Oh, Afterlife.
Yeah, they're going into Coolidge, down to half HP. Can they actually finish Afterlife off? One more tap would do it. The Bear Burn is going to stop on him as they move across and look for the easier kill onto FNG. Which will set up a push. Maybe they could actually pressure high ground here, actually, considering everything that's been used by Gambit.
All of this just with that pickoff on the Ember Spirit, set up by really nice ward by Solo. Sitting right in this camp, this medium camp.
You know what the good news is, though? They've finally done fighting, so Weapus can complete his point about Solar Crest that they were really...
I managed to complete it before.
Okay.
That's all.
No, you're right. Yeah, the attack speed with Weaver. Also, the He's got Geminate attack. He's got the Swarm. Good right clicker to buff basically on his team, so it makes sense.
So selectively, it's good. It just depends on the hero you're coupling it with, really.
I would still probably like to see Vlad's before that, and your Jakiro's got the urn, so you don't need to buy the urn on bounty. So it kind of makes sense that you skip that.
That's a big fair point, actually. When you pick up this, like, Bounty Hunter is this kind of hero that changes item priority and who needs to get what, right? Because you're going to get this huge influx of gold, potentially, from the tracks. A hero that is pos 5 suddenly could say, guys, by, like, 35-minute mark, I could probably have that Spirit Vessel online. Right,
exactly. It completely changes the dynamic of the game when it comes to golds. Which is why it's a stupid hero, and honestly, it's basically Gambler 2.0.
That should go away. Pasha has to use the Roll and Thunder to escape, as he did have the gem and didn't want to risk his life with a swashbuckle to escape.
I think in the last fight, we see why people, a lot of the time, will go for like a Blink Rush build on Enigma. Is it... Oh,
Solo? When's Curse going to come out? The last two is, well, everything on the Weaver, and, well, he's got the Cold Embrace on him, he's just going to be fine. Solo will live, but so with the hack. They're going to turn around to the bear down to half HP already. Afon is going to zone out the rest of the team, and the poor Panda, is he going to die again? It looks like it. No one's not here to deny him this time. Ice Path, jump across, Searing Chains there as well, and that's 300 gold going the way of the Weaver.
Yeah, unfortunately for VP, Daxak was hasted during that fight, so when you fear him, you just fear him. Like they couldn't hit him when he was feared. It wasn't a disable. He was just effectively running away, hasted. So
basically what you're saying is he went from being Weaver to being Weaver 2.0.
Yeah, basically. That's basically exactly what I'm saying.
Kind of upgraded his rims, got a little bit of nitrous installed, and suddenly he's ready to participate in a Vin Diesel movie.
Yeah, he's zooming.
Dasher, tries to go for the D-Ward, but Guardian Greaves means that he can get out. The Searing Chains will not hold him in place. Pretty effective. This is kind of the other thing, right? Is actually, you look at this type of game, because that Guardian Greaves, it really changes the dynamic of how Gambit can start these fights. Because you can't easily lock down the Pangolier from afar, right? Unless he really screws up and gets caught by an Ice Path. Like Lone Druid is right now. I'm going to backstab right now. FNG in a lot of trouble. Will go down. They drop the Macro Pyre, and Ramsey's on half HP. The Cold Embrace is fighting up against the burn here. The buyback comes out. The Black Hole's going to be there as well. On the back line onto no one, but it's not doing enough, actually. He's so damn tanky with the Wukong's down. The amount of armor he has. The Hack's going to chase through, though. Diffuser will slow him down, and Weaver might finally seal the deal onto this Monkey King kill. Trying to move down the low ground. Guardian Greaves to heal up. Pasha backing up here as well, and no one will be found. Boundless Strike will not slow anyone down. As the Kulik chases forward, they should at least find Solo. Nice shuriken toss across to ensure that the TP gets cancelled, and Wyvern will join 2 of his cores in the grave.
God, honestly, this is kind of like nuts stuff coming out of VP. They're just kind of 5-manning into towers and getting caught out. There's not even an Enigma blink, and these fights are going terribly. Like, the black holes haven't been good, which, of course, I mean, is natural when you don't have a blink. You can't just magically walk in and hit a good black hole, but they're just losing these fights to, like, the Macro Pyre plus Ember Spirit, and then the Weaver just hitting the back lines. That's it. It's just like these slow overtime fights where the Weaver's just getting tons of damage, the Jakiro spells are doing tons of damage, Ember's doing tons of damage, like constantly sleight of fisting, and you eventually lose. Doesn't matter if you have tanky heroes. I'm really worried for them for what happens when Enigma does have the Blink Dagger, and he's actually a threat with that black hole in the late game. I feel like you're just kind of screwed. Like in that fight, the Wyvern even had the Blink, and he has the Blink in Winter's Curse, so he can interrupt the black hole, but he just couldn't get in. Like, he couldn't get into the fight. He would die to all of the crossfire, and he eventually did.
Yeah, catching out the Lone Druid like they do, Gambit, is really helpful for them, since the Lone Druid has the most amount of net worth. I mean, he's really farmed. Got the Vlads on the hero as well as the AC as well. So just losing all of that net worth, I mean, then you have your Ember and your Bounty, and your Weaver just going to kind of do whatever they want. So even if the Black Holes aren't amazing, still kind of does the job, because you lock down the second highest net worth just for the full duration of a Black Hole, and he can't get any damage out. And Monkey has built more towards just being a frontliner and help the Lone Druid actually be able to do damage. And if the Lone Druid's locked down, then you lose all your damage.
Is that maybe VP kind of, in that state of mind that we know VP as, they're usually this team making the aggressive moves, taking the plays to their opponents, right? And in that scenario, that was definitely initiated by Gambit, right, with the Ice Path Macro Path. It seemed like VP were rushing to react to that, which meant that no one broke the back line, but he'd done so, ironically, not his name, but in this scenario, solo.
Yeah, I think the way that VP wants to take these fights, as opposed to like letting Gambit dictate the way the game is going, is you want to get these initiations with Batrider. Like you have Batrider, Blink, he almost has Force Staff. You have the Winter Wyvern setup where you can do the Fear out of the Winter Wyvern Curse. Like every time they have gotten the initiation on VP, we've seen the fights go well for them. Every time it's been the other way around, it's been a disaster. And that's why I think it doesn't make sense at this point in the game. It made sense early when you have the power spike on the Lone Druid to do it, but it doesn't make sense at this point of the game to just 5-man into the towers of Gambit. You have to actually take a pick off. So if they can get like the Weaver or something here first, although he has the Aegis, it's not the hero you want to go on.
This is the state in which Gambit are happy to be ones 5-manning into towers. The Hack charging forward. We'll get rooted up. The Fierce there as well. BKB coming up. No one. The Lasso. Only Enigma trying to get through in time with the Ice Path of the Macro Path. It won't be enough to protect him. Shakira now needs to get out of this, but he can't. Monkey King hits a little bit too hard. The buyback is out from Enigma, but he still does not have that Blink Dagger, so it's going to be a long, slow walk back to the fight. The side, Ola Kulich just juking everyone out here. Even chains out into Wyvern. Still has the Winter's Curse. Doesn't want to have to expend it, though. Might be forced to. He's going to go down. Double kill already for Afon. A chase up for more. The Hack is trying to pursue onto Ramses here. Defusal in 5 seconds, but nice cover from no one to try and ensure they can escape. Defusal on Mark, but high ground.
So they can't push this high ground with the Wukongs up. But still a good fight for Gambit. Get the tower. Unfortunately, they have to buy back on Immersion, but they still have the Aegis from Weaver for a few more minutes.
I mean, you definitely see it in the fights, though, that when Gambit get to dictate the fight, it's so much chaos for VP to just try and kind of scramble. It was a good pickoff on the Enigma, but after that, you kind of just scramble. Whereas when they actually get to start the fight, the chaos comes on Gambit's side, and it feels like they're just trying to, get anything done in the fights. And it's VP definitely needs, like you mentioned before, they have to be able to actually get some pickoff before and then kind of snowball on from there.
Right, I think like Blink Lasso onto, Weaver. Ideally Ember, honestly. Like that's. But he has a Lincoln Sphere. That's the only problem. Is that he's going to need the Force Staff on Roger before he can cancel that Lincoln Sphere and potentially get the Ember. I feel like the Ember's doing a lot of damage in these fights. So is Weaver. He has the Aegis, so you can't go on him. But you kind of have to go on the Enigma because otherwise you're afraid of the hole. But then if you go on the Enigma, you have this Ember and Weaver that are just a huge problem for you. But you kind of have to go on them. You need somebody to like isolate the Enigma and deal with him, where you don't maybe necessarily kill him, or you isolate the other heroes and then kill the Enigma. But these fights where Weaver and Ember are just able to do whatever they want, they are not going to go well for VP because, like you said, it's basically just Ramses doing damage right now. No one has picked up a Deso, so he's going to do a little bit more, and he did a lot in that fight, but it was only on the supports.
Pasha being chased here, has the wrong Thunder. Shuriken didn't drop, he can get it off now. And now Enigma, he sticks his neck out, and that's going to get chopped right off. He can't get away from this. The Wukongs went down to ensure that that's the case. They'll follow through onto FNG as well. Daxak trying to get rid of the bear, but they'll get rid of the dragon quicker. Daxak now needs to actually time-lapse and look to escape this. He still has the Aegis, but doesn't want to expend it. Solo will protect himself with Cold Embrace. Lasso's going to come out. Dragon Bounty on Erin. Swashbuckler's out to silence him up. And Afon will just Searing Chains and escape to the right side of the fight. But on the left side, Ola Kulich struggling to get away from the overwhelming damage to the Pangolier and of the Batrider. But instead, they take a little bit too much time. They might actually enable a turnaround kill as Pasha does go down. On the other side, Afon did fall to the overwhelming forces of VP. But Daxak, he's just being toyed with. He can't find a single kill here.
Dude, that Guardian Greaves aura, super effective when you get low. 15 extra armor, so he was taking barely any damage from the Weaver. It looked scary, but it really wasn't, just because of the aura that you get from that when you fall below 20% HP. And honestly, I kind of want to say, like, Enigma's not that effective in this game. He's getting caught out in every fight. I really feel like if he had a Blink Dagger, he could just sit in the trees and have like 10x the effectiveness. It feels like he's not really a threat for his team, or he should be at this point, because you have a Bounty Hunter who's your other core. Oh, so low.
Well, he tried and failed, but he tried. I think you're right with the kind of idea of the Blink Dagger, although it's harder in this game, right? Because you're in a game against the Monkey King. So when you think you're safe in the trees, that's not necessarily true. Luckily for them, the Monkey King didn't take the AoE vision element game.
Yeah. They do have the bat too, so they've been doing a really good job initiating on the Enigma, but I do feel like he's been playing really up. Which, I mean, it makes sense with this armor build, but he hasn't been able, or with the aura build, but he hasn't been able to get any of his auras off. He's just dying. Literally every single fight, he's dying first. Like, even the fights that Gambit is winning. I would argue that if he has a Blink Dagger here, and he's not dying at the start of these fights, VP's getting crushed right now. I would say, like, if he gets a black hole off in these fights, there's no way that VP is winning this game.
Yeah, being able to play back and then just get the black hole out. I mean, in a way, I kind of like this Glimmer Cape, but it's still scary. If you keep playing up like you have been, you're going to get caught up by the lasso, or no one's going to find you. And like you mentioned now, with the Deso up on no one and then going for Manticide, as we can see now, he's going to start actually doing damage. And you saw that in the last fight. He kind of blows up the Enigma if he actually catches him out. So it doesn't matter if he has the Glimmer then, because if Pacha's there, you have the gems. He's still going to die. The Glimmer is only going to help you against the magic damage, which is mainly right now is the burn damage and the Winter Wyvern. Yeah, Bat Rider.
Yeah. At what point, man, this is... At what point do you just say, all right, I'm just going to get a blink, look for that backline kind of black hole? Because I feel like there are interrupts for it. You know, there's the Wyvern, there's the Pango Silence, you don't have BKB on Enigma yet, you have no one with the long-range Boundless Strike. However, like, your black hole doesn't need to hit all 5. It doesn't need to be cast at the start of a fight as an initiation. Like, you can use it as like an after the fight tool to get, 2 pickoffs, or use it after spells have been cast. Like, there's a lot of ways to go about using the ability. It's not just like hitting that 5-man counter initiation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and definitely if you look at how the fights have gone earlier, when Gambit has been winning fights, the black holes have been on one hero, to lock one person down, or just been a slow black hole, or like a very late black hole. So you don't even necessarily have to have a full black hole, like you say, hitting 5 people. You could literally just have a start of a black hole, and then you get the follow-up from the rest of your team, and it's going to keep on rolling from that, because you create the chaos necessary for your team to get an advantage in the fight.
Right, exactly. If you black hole just the Monkey, just the Pango, I mean, hell, even just the Wyvern or the Bat before they cast their spells, that's pretty effective compared to just not using it at all. Because you're dead.
Definitely.
It's not easy, though, not with Solo now having that Blink Dagger line, the Wyvern, along with the Aether Lens. This man is being the elusive kind of figure in the fights that you imagined and wanted the Enigma to be, basically.
Yeah, frustrating to play Enigma versus
Ice
Wyvern.
Path, Macropie down. This might be the opportunity for a black hole, and there it comes out. On the Lone Druid alone, but the Winter's Curse interrupts it. The Wukongs will go down, but interrupted by the use of the Shuriken. Gonna get them low. BKB from no one, stay alive, but Ramses won't be so lucky. He will go down. Nice control onto the Weaver, gets the kill. Dead for 100 seconds, moving across. They'll find the Monkey King, and, well, they did actually find the Wyvern on the side. Passion won't be able to escape. He'll drop the gem on the ground, and Gambit take a very convincing win in this fight near the Roche Pit.
That was perfect. Just hold, like, one person. That's it. You win the fight. Like, you force out the Wyvern ult, you don't want to use the ult there. We've seen the ult be used pretty effectively with the Wyvern to set up for kills. So forcing it out like that, and still the Lone Druid dies to the other disables, like Ember Spear just goes in, uses the Searing Chain, so he's kept in the Midnight Pulse, which does tons of damage to the Lone Druid because he's got such high HP. That was such a nice fight from Gambit. Nice little choke point fight that they took.
And then the Macropire on top as well. I mean, that's all you gotta do with Enigma at this point, because, like you said, you force the curse out, and then you also put the Lone Druid down to help heal him with the Cold Embrace, and then you have all this magic damage on top, just doing so much damage to him. So,
right,
you just create the chaos necessary for VP to commit way too much to trying to save the Lone Druid because it's the highest network, and then you can just keep rolling the fight.
And I hate to harp on the Enigma. It doesn't have anything to do with immersion as a player. It's more so that when you have an Enigma 4 in a game like this, he's one of the most effective late game heroes. So naturally, the entire game is going to be dictated by how you play the fight. That is just that is what you're getting what you pay for. Like, that's what the hero does. So we're giving him a lot of shit, but it's just because in any game, this hero would be dictating the pace of the game. It's an Enigma. It's what he does.
Yeah, and you also see the difference. What happened when they took the fight on their shrine, and then you take the fight outside a Roche Pit. Yeah, he gets a black hole off for a couple of seconds, but it's still enough impact that they just win the fight off.
Yep.
gives them that crucial window, right? Like, basically, I think this isn't going to change now that Ramses is the most important core to get rid of him. Not just because of his highest net worth, it's also, like, the impact if you give him enough time to now get to 25. Because we can never forget about that Spirit Bear attack time. Like, once that's online,
good lord,
he's just going to shred through people. So Gambit have the right idea. Like we said early on, both these teams have proactive drafts. They have to be making the initiation. And that's going to become even more true once those 25 start to come into play.
And kind of going back to like the game being dictated by Enigma, same thing goes for Roger on Bat. It's just the initiations are so important that unfortunately you have this 5-year-old here on the Bat.
Well, Roger's trying to go in. BKBs, they've activated no one, moving across to the Wukongs. They want to try and get rid of Immersion as they know he has Black Hole soon, and he just evaporates. Solo does as well, though. 1-for-1 trade right now. Big commitment from VP. Can they find more? Buyback comes out in Solo. Lone Druid's been found. Lassu's going to be there. Raw Thunder through. Can they control the Weaver? They might be able to, but the BKB comes in time. No! He doesn't get it in time. Mid-animation again. It just keeps on happening. Next on the hit list is Jakiro. Pasha trying to hold him in spot. Ice Path's going to come out. A lot of damage resistance for Pangolier, but he is running low on mana. Needs to swashbuckle away. Stun does come out on Ember. That'll cover his escape. They need to get out because Weaver did buyback, and they don't have the control left to kill him off again. So they will find Solo, and that is actually going to be a dieback, which, you know, we're at that stage where you're going to approach these high grounds, and your Wyvern be unavailable for a minute and a half is huge.
Yeah, you high ground right now. You've a dominated siege creep. Going mid, you got level 25 Weaver, although he had to buy back because he didn't use the BKB, unfortunately. Alpha Ninja, I believe, still has the Aegis. Yeah, he does. You can just go ham.
Don't do just that. You can already see the move from Roger. He's like, okay, I can't fight this directly. Let's just try and keep this bot lane pushed in. Maybe try and keep him out of the base. But look at the hesitation from Gambit. I mean, this is a team with an Enigma who, if he was there, maybe they feel a bit more confident. The Ember went back. You're sitting outside the base. That was probably your golden opportunity to get on VP's high ground, and they are playing very restrained.
I guess they feel like going late. They're just the stronger team. I mean, if Bat can't get these initiations, it's really hard when there's a Lincoln Sphere and Ember Spirit Weaver. You know, he's tanky. He's got the BKB. He's gonna have Satanic soon, which gives you the status resist. You are feeling pretty good if you're Gambit going late. They have 4 cores essentially versus 2.5, kind of, you know? There's Wyvern's pretty good, but it's hard when he just has 2 items. He's kind of dying, and then buying back and dying again, just to the crossfire.
The window's huge as well, right? Because, like, I'm looking at Wyvern, only 18. We don't see it often, but when that 25 talent comes out, like, that's a big scary moment for your opponents. But it's so far away, whereas on the other side, look at the Chikiro. He already has the Ice Path duration.
Good lord, he's 25. This hero.
It's big game.
And then with the bounty tracks too, he's got a Spirit Vessel, Yule Scepter, and 1,400 gold to boot.
He's incredibly strong. And I feel like the Bat Rider...
Lassu, they're going to drag in. They found the Enigma. Immersion, he stuck his head out again. He keeps showing at the front of these fights and paying the ultimate price. Pangolier, lock a bounty hunter in this choke point. Keeps stunning him up. The Winner's Curse comes out as well. Backfire goes down. Ice Path as well. FNG just trying to cover his course. Monkey and BKB's up and moves away. Swashbuckle through. Pasha just trying to escape after he gets the bash. Solo's going to get low. The Cold Embrace, he can't protect himself. They'll move out of the Wukong, so just try and wait it out before re-engaging. Ramsey's down to half HP. He's showing a little bit too far forward here. Needs to back up. No one. Being backstabbed by Athon is going to move him with the Flame Guard active. It should be enough to bring down the Monkey King, and Ramsey's with Ghost Step to keep himself alive. It might not be enough, though. The Ice Path does land, and with that, he will fall. The buyback came out from the Monkey King, but not in time to change anything about Ramsey's fate.
Ramsey has no buyback. They don't know it, because it's not off cooldown.
They will very soon, though.
Not on cooldown. Yeah, I mean, if they pressure, this is double siege wave.
There's no way you don't go high ground, right? Because you saw the Wukong's use. You know you've got about a minute to go.
They don't know, though. They don't know if he could just buy back and they take a fight, though. That's the problem. And we still have a lasso on Roger. I really think that, okay, number one, Enigma needs to stop dying. Like, this needs to actually stop. This is too much. This is the point where it's like, okay, Jakira's dead. No way he survives this.
Yeah,
and like if Roger gets the initiation on Enigma, you're gonna lose. If he doesn't, you're gonna win. That's it. That's this game right now.
So you're saying the Enigma, if he wants to win the game, he has to stay alive. You know what, Jenkins? I can tell why you write guides.
They don't need a frontliner. They don't need him to be doing this right now. It's redundant. Ember Spirit has Shiva's Guard, Octarine Core, Lincoln Sphere. Weaver has Satanic. Like, they have multiple front... Bounty Hunter has a BKB. Like, he's a support. Enigma's the core at this point. You don't need to have Enigma frontlining like this.
Yeah, Enigma just needs to stay back and get his black hole off. It's like we saw him. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a long black hole. Just get it off makes a difference.
Yeah. Anything. Just anything. It's the only thing. It's the only thing keeping VP in the game right now, because this Weaver and this Ember are absolutely popping off. Like, they're going ham in these fights. There's nothing that Ramses and no one can do to deal with these two heroes. They're just walking circles around them in fights.
Makes it really hard for the Batrider this late into the game. I mean, if you would have swapped, for example, the Batrider onto Gambit side, the hero would have been amazing, because you just get a pick off on a very important core. Whereas now, yeah, you get a lasso on the Enigma or maybe on the Bounty Hunter, and even if you pick that one hero off, you're still going to have 3 other cores. So at this point, it's almost like you want to have an axe just to be able to pick off 2 heroes with a bat. I mean, Roger's putting in the work, but it's still so hard for them, which you can see. But as long as Gambit has their Enigma dying, Roger's work is going to be enough. But if Enigma starts staying alive, makes it even harder for VP.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. Oh, thank God!
It's a
thank
miracle.
God!
48 minutes into the game, Enigma has realized his role in the team.
Very nice.
Okay,
Good.
I think I know what was happening before this, guys. It's not only that he wanted the gold for that Blink Dagger, right? Look how close he is to level 20. When he was approaching like that, he's like, guys, just let me get solo XP. I'm going to have level 20, and then I'll never die because I'll take 500 health.
I legit think that VP's done. Like, I don't think they're going to win this next fight. I'm like that confident in this Enigma Blink Dagger. And looks like they're going to smoke right now.
You know what the abnormality of this game is? Usually the Jakiro is kind of a moot factor, right? It just pushes out lanes. But if they had been finding Jakiro when he'd been just shoving lanes alone, it's such a different fight for VP. And now he's never actually shoving alone. He's always with his team.
Yeah, it doesn't need to shove. They have all the lanes pushing in. They have a ton of map control on Gambit, so send the Eidolons in. So they're looking for anything. It feels like there's a lot of pressure on Gambit. They really don't want to lose this one. They feel like, probably because it's VP, so you really want to win. Right on a ward, yeah.
Oops. Oh,
but
they've got a long way. They're thinking about Roche, but that's still not up for 2 minutes. And you can't be comfortable just giving VP 2 minutes on the board to try and get a next big item, try and get something to bounce back.
Speaking of big items, we have Satanic out for no one. So lots of damage, lots of status resistance. The good thing is, though, the Black Hole, of course, status resist doesn't do anything to this ability.
Meanwhile, on the other side, though, look what Weaver went for. He went for a Satanic as well, so he'll have the status resistance to deal with any threat that comes out from the Batrider.
Yep, and a Cheese as well. So he's got Cheese, got Time Lapse, 0 mana cost, Black King Bar, Satanic to turn around and get that lifesteal. It's very difficult to kill.
Getting that Nullifier up is going to be very...
Nullify Manta, Nullify BKB, Nullify Black King Bar. On no one. Nullify the Ghost Scepter on Ramses, although Ramses has been relatively ineffective in this game. They've been doing a really good job on Gambit and dealing with him in the fights. He's not even dying to like the magic or the physical damage. He's dying to magic damage. He's dying to the Ember magic damage and honestly the Jakiro. That's what he's been dying to. Pops Ghost Scepter and just explodes to those heroes. Arcane Rune on Ember. This is scary. This is legitimately like one of the scariest heroes to have an Arcane Rune at this point in the game.
Well, especially the Remnant talent as well.
Yeah. Lord.
This is the spooky build. It's like the biggest issue. Oh, well, yeah, he's got that low Remnant, but I mean, he has got the mana. Really? Because he's in a 2k mana. He can just spam all day.
Everything's lining up for Gambit.
They're just trying to take a fight, any fight.
Yeah, they got AC on the Bounty Hunters. Just finishing up all the items. If they can get a fight now with a just semi-decent Black Hole, just getting the Black Hole off, you're going to finish the game off of this.
Holy shit, please, immersion. Send Eidolons. Don't send your hero down the lane. Careful, dog.
He's sure that's not been the issue the whole game. He's just had his control group set up wrong. He's like, my Eidolons actually look pretty big today, and there's only one of them. Oh, I see what I done here. He did take the health talent. No surprise there either.
Both teams being super careful. Yeah, the health talent, I mean, there's a lot to clear the Eidolons anyway, so Like Winter Wyvern can clear them at this point.
This could be big. They're in the Roche Pit, and remember, they're up against the Pangolier, up against the Bat Rider, and the Monkey King. But VP need to act fast. Solo wrapping around. This was going to come out. Rolling Thunder as well onto Jakiro, but they've already finished off the Roche. They need to act fast. The Winner's Curse going to come out the lasso as well, dragging both of them across so that the Bounty Hunter just keeps actually attacking. And now they're going to move in with the Wukong's down. Can they do enough damage here? The Fear comes out. Enigma, he can't throw out the black hole. He's just going to fall down. No, he's gone. Gonna have to buy back straight away alongside the Jakiro. Solo trying to move away. Gambit just going to chase on through. Older Kulich takes half the HP of this Wyvern. On the other side, though, Daxak stands his ground with the BKB active. Ramsey's down to half HP. Tanlat's looking to move away from no one who has the DD. Will be able to do so. But now, slow. Ember just trying to get a Remnant out so he has a backup plan just in case. Ruined. Pangolier can't move away quick enough. No mana, no life, no chance of getting out in one piece. They force the buyback out on the Wyvern, but it's too late to actually help out. Pangolier has to buy back in the end as well.
Fresher. Nice, nice. We got a double black hole coming out. Coming in hot.
Is he gonna get it out though? That's
yeah,
real...
he's bought back. If he dies, this could be game losing.
We do have lasso in 10 seconds on Roger again, so
also,
Wyvern Curse in 24 seconds.
Wukong's in 35.
There are no more buybacks on VPs. Ramsey's finished the BKB on his bear, so he does not have the gold, and then there's cooldowns on every.
His bear that was closer to dying than it appeared there.
This bear, if it dies, it's really bad. That's 70 seconds, no bear.
And they
effectively a hero with no buyback.
No one gets the lifesteal, but now in a little bit of trouble. They actually hit him up with the E-Blade. The wrong fun's going to be used. BKB active, trying to move in quick enough. Lasso there. Enigma, he can't actually get the black hole out. Is he actually going to go down here? They're going to root him up. Abyssal, they're throwing everything at this goddamn man to see if he'll die, but he's staying alive. The Winner's Curse coming out. They need to get rid of him, but he's so close to dying. He'll stay alive. The buyback comes out from no one. They finally get rid of Enigma, but now, do they have enough left for the rest of Gambit? I don't think so. They're just trying to run away. Ramsey's down to half HP already. Roger has to sidestep because Weaver hits too hard. The Wukong's is going to come out, but Monkey King getting shredded inside his own ultimate. All this armor is making no difference, and it looks like game one might actually go the way of Gambit as Ramsey's will fall just outside his found. GG comes out. Gambit take game one.
Just business.
I'm shocked.
I mean, who needs black holes anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. If it's just like usually when there's an